Hello, and welcome to the Cancer Journey podcast. I'm Alicia.
And I'm Shariann.
So today we're going to be talking about the feeling of being stuck. I think this is a very shared experience we've all had about just feeling stuck in your life, feeling stagnant and feeling, it gives me an icky feeling. Before we get started, we'll get grounded and we'll start with our PESH check-in. So Shariann, will you go first?
Yes. Okay. So physically, I am a 4.25, emotionally 4.3. Oh, spirit 4.4, hope 4.4. And my word is for this moment, curious. Your turn.
Hey, physically, I am feeling 4.4. Emotionally, I am a 4.4. Spirits of 4.4. And interesting. And hope is a 4.25. And my word is trust. So as I said, we're going to be talking about the feeling of being stuck. Shariann, what comes up when we say that? I mean, I literally said before, icky. I feel icky.
Well, I think that it's a common feeling. So it's not just for a cancer journey where you feel stuck, but on a cancer journey, oh my goodness, there's so many times where you feel stuck. And it's like, how do I get out of this? Or I don't like how I'm feeling or what's going on. I wanna shift, but I can't. I'm just like stuck here. And so it's so relevant to what we do and what we experience. But I just want to like maybe touch on what's going on right now. There feels like there's a change in the air, and yet for change to happen, you have to let go and really step into what wants to come. And there is this feeling of stuckness, I think, present right now. I could feel like a stickiness, a desire to move forward, and yet there's like a little bit of a tether that's still holding me back. But you.
I'm trying to tap into this feeling of stuckness, and it almost feels like a space that's shrinking around you and you're banging against all the walls looking for something to give way. But I agree with you that there's this reluctance to give something up, which already takes me to the pit, right? Like
Hmm.
on our cancer journey roadmap, when you're in the pit, one of the things that we know is that to get out of the pit, you have to let go of something that is no longer serving you. And so it's almost like this stuckness tends to be self-perpetuating in a way, though obviously no blame. There is no blame on who's there or why you're there, how you got there, none of that. It's more of just do you ever think about in a survival situation all the things that you would grab? So kind of in my brain it's like, okay, I can only carry so much with me in order to move forward. And maybe the survival situation's a little extreme, but it's to really say that there are essentials that we have that we're absolutely taking with us, and then there are things that are sentimental, there are things that we might need, there's those types of things. And so day to day, we don't really think about that. It's kind of, it's going to sound extreme also. It's kind of how we don't want to think about death. Like how we know these things are inevitable. We need to know what our essentials are, but we still know it's like, well, we don't have to think about that now because I want to maintain what I have. I want to maintain what's here. I want to maintain all of my luxuries and all of the things that make me just feel good, not just the bare minimum. And I don't think we have to operate on either end. We don't have to operate on bare minimum survival mode, and we don't have to operate on, I need every single thing that I want to be around me to make me happy. There is a space in the middle. And so as we're wanting to get unstuck from this place, when we're thinking about all these things, which aren't necessarily physical things that we have to have, something needs to give, or we need to try and be willing to see what it's like without. And so that reluctance feels so trapping because we get so tight and locked into, I cannot possibly let that go. But there is a way to drop things off and put them somewhere just to try out not having them and seeing what that impact is for you. How's that landing for you?
So a couple of things just came up. One is Life in Five Chapters, which I'll share in just one moment, but also the fact that, as you were talking about, the stuff that I want to bring with me, it's like this backpack, because my arms can only hold so much, and then they start getting heavy. But if I'm putting things into my backpack, it's still finite. It's like I can only bring certain things. So what am I choosing to? And that takes energy to right decision making and figure out, but it also takes time for us to like pause, our favorite thing to do, to like be with what is it that I really need. So let me step into sharing the Life in Five Chapters, and then we can come back to the backpack. So chapter 1, I walk down the street and I fall in a hole. I don't know that I'm in a hole, so I stay here for quite a while. Chapter 2, I walk down the street, I fall down a hole. I'm aware that I'm in the hole and still here for a while, but I'm trying to figure out a way out. Chapter 3, I walk down the street. I fall in the hole again. I'm clearly aware that I've fallen into the hole and that it's a stuck pattern, but I'm aware of it. And so I'm staying in it a shorter period of time. Chapter 4, I walk down the street. I fall in the hole and immediately get out because I know that I've fallen into the hole. Chapter 5, I walk down a different street.
It's giving Groundhog Day for me.
But what did you get from that and stuckness?
I think at first I was a little confused. I was like, okay, so day 2 I'm gonna be in the hole, or chapter 2 I'm gonna be in the hole. But I understand now that there's a pattern to falling in the hole. I mean, immediately it's like I've made a home. I just am in my space. It's a little obviously this is the first time you're in it, but it was giving a little bit of like Stockholm syndrome. All right, well, I'm captured. I might as well make the best of it, kind of kind of like thinking. Which when you put it in Stockholm syndrome terms, it's like, well, that's insane. Like, don't do that. But I love that we didn't have to stay in the hole. For me, it was like being trapped felt like the hole immediately. And so it was like, how are you going to get out? But it's not about getting out necessarily or how you get out. It's the fact that you do and you know that you can get out. And I think it took me a second to understand the chapters, and really that's where it landed. I really like the 5th chapter where you just walk down a different street. I mean, that one's so like, duh, like, why do I keep going in the hole? But that clarity cannot come until you've gone through it. And that's not to say, especially in cancer journey terms, like, that does not mean you have to have 5 bouts of cancer to figure that out. That doesn't mean that all of this can't happen during one cancer journey, but it is the pathway to change, right? Like, we have to better understand the environment that we're in, and that we don't want to be there anymore, to know how to get out and start to make efforts to get out, and then make efforts to not go back.
And just how comfortable being stuck can feel. It's like, "Oh, I fell in the hole. Okay, but it's a comfortable place. So, all right, it's comfortable. I don't like it, but I'll just stay here because it's comfortable." And so there's that repeat, repeat, and the seduction of where's my hole until it's like, this doesn't feel good. I really want out. And I make a different choice. Who would have thought that being stuck and being unstuck is a choice?
Yeah.
Because it feels so visceral, that yucky feeling that you're talking about. It's like, I'm stuck.
And sometimes we don't know we're stuck until we're there too long. Like you said, like when you first get in the hole, you're just like, okay, this is fine. I can deal with this. And we are told kind of to be able to adapt, and so that it becomes hard to, especially if it's like an old way of thinking, if that's the hole you're in, that everyone else around you is telling you that's how you're supposed to be, it's gonna take even longer for you to get out of that hole, because you're literally stuck in that.
Right.
I do want to say that, like, whether it's the hole or the pit or whatever you're stuck in, and we say to let something go, we're not saying that it's easy. We're not saying that, like, oh yeah, this little weight, I can take that off. Now I'm perfect and I can ascend. No, not quite exactly. But what we have found is that to let something go is always going to be hard. A lot of times it's something that does matter to you. And so we're not saying you let it go, throw it over your shoulder. It didn't matter. It doesn't need to matter. The things that you put down, they get to matter. You get to be sad and mourn the loss of those things. On a cancer journey, you know, you yourself are changing. You, the person with the life that you've had and the life that you've created for yourself up until, you know, the point of your diagnosis, you get to miss that. You get to miss all of that. You get to, a lot of people say that they feel like they just are watching them lose parts of themselves throughout their cancer journey. And unfortunately, sometimes like that physical being changes so much that you don't recognize that person anymore. And that is a huge loss that people experience through cancer, and one that absolutely does not deserve to be like, I just had to stop caring about how I looked and what I had and all that stuff. It's not about not caring. It's about knowing that you're on a journey forward to have things that really do matter to you, and you get to mourn the loss of the things that mattered to you before then also.
I agree. And I actually think that you have to mourn the loss. Because if we just think that, bling, I'm going to change and I'm going to let something go and it's not going to matter to me, it's like that backpack that you were talking about. It's like there is stuff that I have carried around forever. And parts of me that I like, but doesn't serve me anymore. Like just personally, moving fast, trying to get a lot of stuff done. It's not serving me. I have to slow down. My being craves the immersion and I see things differently. I see more beauty. I see more texture. I see more connection. And that now when I'm looking thinking about, so what fills me, what feeds me, that's the stuff, not the accomplishment, which did feed me at one point in my life, but that doesn't work anymore. And so being clear about what keeps me stuck in the hole is trying to do everything that I used to do and trying to be this new person. It's impossible. I have to let that go and to mourn that person who who I was. And we did a whole episode on that. It's the sadness, the loss, the acceptance of it's a different day. I can't go back to yesterday. Today is today and tomorrow's going to be another day, and so we keep growing and evolving, and that's the beautiful thing. I just want to share one story. We had a really cold winter for the West Coast, for the San Francisco Bay Area, and it was windy, and my baby maple lost all its leaves. It was just bare, and it's like, oh look, I'm experiencing winter, but also it was like, oh my baby. And so I just left it and kept, watering it. And now at the beginning of spring, just yesterday, as I was walking towards the house, I looked and I'm like, it is full of leaves, bigger than it was before. And I'm like, how did that happen? When did that happen? I was totally unconscious of this growth. And it's like, it needed to let go of the leaves that were there to get unstuck so that it could be even bigger and better. And it's just, I mean, it's so miraculous. I'm looking at it now and it's like, ah, it's so pretty.
Just for context, even though I feel like as you spoke, it got clear, it's a tree.
Yes, yes, a maple
Not a
tree.
baby named Maple, because I was confused at first. My baby! Maple!
Yes, my baby maple tree. I forgot that word.
As you were saying leaves, I was like, the tree! But exactly, I mean, you and I know, even though we're not the hugest nature people, we know that nature shows us so much, and it has signs that we really need to be taking in to really be living a really fulfilling life, like that slowness and that shedding of things that once felt and were very important to us in order to make space for the new. I love that you shared the personal stories too, because I think that really matters in the way that you want to slow down. In order to slow down, you have to put down moving fast and moving too quickly. For myself, that some of that is that like perfectionism and like working on something till it feels perfect to be delivered. But there is no perfection. I mean, I know that, and yet there's that part of me that wants to immediately go to perfection, and immediately wants to go to how can I make this the best it can possibly be. It does get hard because we naturally want to lean back into it. So that's also to say, once you put something down, it can easily be picked back up, obviously. But it's the reminder to yourself that that's actually no longer serving me. I need to put it down and I need to let myself do something to completion that is not my absolute best work ever, but still can have impact and value. And it doesn't need to be perfect because no one's standards are to my own. It's kind of like how things that you can be really self conscious about, no one else who's looking at you is really thinking about that. And if they are thinking about that, their opinion does not need to matter.
Trust. Wasn't that your word?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I mean, that comes up so clear right now. It's like, I need to trust the process. I need to trust me, you. I just need to have trust that it's all unfolding the way that it's going to. And I don't have to control it. I can't control it, actually. I mean, I really think that control is a fallacy. It's like, I think I am, but I couldn't control my body when I was going through cancer. It was doing what it was doing, and I needed to trust. So the stuckness requires trust that, like my baby maple tree, it's going to have its next evolution, whatever that is.
Yeah, this just reminded me of something on the cancer journey, but now I completely forgot. That we see the cancer journey as a journey. We specifically do not see it as a battle because imagine the same energy, but you're battling your cancer. Like if you're constantly warriored up in armor or having this fighting attitude towards something that you really have no control over, don't you feel like there's a better use of that energy? Because you can't will your cancer to go away by sheer force. And if you can, go to the scientist because I want to better understand how you're doing that. But really, when in your being, when you trust yourself, you trust the doctors, you trust whatever's coming next, it doesn't mean that things are necessarily easier, but mentally, emotionally, spiritually, the load is lighter because even as someone's coming to the end of their journey, if they're battling, they didn't lose their fight with cancer. They were never fighting with cancer. It's everyone else's narrative to say that they're battling cancer. And because it's so in the zeitgeist, we tend to easily go to that kind of phrasing of battling cancer. But it's not a battle, it's a journey. And there's a difference between the diagnosis and the human inside. And the human inside needs some softness for this very intense physical battle that's happening and to feed themselves with things that make them happy throughout this process because we know that treatment's going to happen either way. That's not what we're doing. We're helping you as a full person experience cancer, knowing that these things are coming up, these really hard things are coming up, and still having the emotional bandwidth to handle them and having support from a coach who really understands the trajectory of your journey and that you will have good days and you'll have bad days and that will hear you so that you can let go of those things because this journey of change is going to hold some really hard emotions and you need to be able to put them somewhere instead of just internalizing them and worrying about them, instead giving your body and your being the energy it needs to heal physically from the cancer.
Yes. Yes, yes, yes. It's not just a physical healing, it is an emotional healing. How do you do that? Have a coach help you. The mental, the mindset healing, and the spiritual healing. It's so intertwined. And when we're stuck, it's like, I don't know. I just want to be out. I want to be unstuck. I don't want to be in the hole anymore. I want to be thriving. I want to be living. There are ways to be unstuck, but it starts with slowing down and really realizing that I'm stuck. What's that about?
Yeah. Actually, as we're saying this and as you're connecting the stuckness feels like it is with control. right? Like we're stuck because we're trying to control. But when you release that, you go into living and experiencing and just being, because there's nothing to do.
Right. It's being on the journey, which is why we call ourselves cancer journey coaches. It's just I'm there. It is a road, a trip, a odyssey, a pathway. It's not just I'm there. So I'm going to say my takeaway is kind of that we're all on a journey, and whether we fall in the hole or we get stuck, it doesn't end there. There's always more. And so it takes consciousness and willingness to travel this with not ease. What's the word I want? With, I mean, really what's coming up with this love for myself, love for what's happening. Like we don't lose our humanity and we don't lose our love. It just doesn't go away. It might get buried, but we get to excavate it and find it again and then move forward on the journey. So having said that, my PESH is physically 4.25, emotionally 4.4, spirit 4.6, hope 4.45, and my word is cruising.
Okay, my takeaway, still laughing about that baby maple thing in my from the back of my head. My baby maple. But that, like, I'm trying to tap back into the stuck feeling. Sometimes being stuck is self-created, and even that in its acknowledgement is really hard to hold, because we don't want to be responsible or feel blame for it. But you don't have to blame yourself, and you get to choose to change at any time. You get to choose at any time that, I don't want to feel this way and I want to try something different. And you get to be sad about the things that you let go. Like just like you said, letting go of the moving fast, myself, the perfectionism, those things still come back, and we still have to kind of talk to them, be like, no, we're putting you down. We're trying something different right now, something else. That's to say that that stuck feeling might come back when you try to put something down, and you can choose again to try to put it down. So that in itself is a journey, and it is a very conscious one to do, but it's one that you're absolutely capable of, and there are plenty of resources for support. But even just knowing that as anything changes, you get to be both sad and angry about the things that are leaving you, as well as excited and hopeful about the things that are coming next. And those things get to exist at the same time. So that's my takeaway. And physically, I am 4.4. Emotionally, I'm a 4.6. Spirit is a 4.4, and hope is a 4.35. And my word is baby maple. Thank you for tuning in with us today, and we'll be back next week.
I want to wish you a lovely rest of your day, and just for you to remember that you're so much more powerful than you realize. Bye for now.